Beautiful people, beautiful people. Let's head on over to the Discord, drop some notifications, let everyone know that we are live. First and foremost, there's one. All right, we are live. There's two. Okay, we're good there. Let's get some comments pulled up. See who's going to be the first in here today. Technically, this is a morning stream. It's a bit of a late morning stream, but it is a morning stream. So, let's see. People. We're gonna get Sanchez in here first. What's up, dude? What's up, Sanchez? Hey, thank you again for yesterday, bro. I really appreciate that. Omar, what's up, dude? Barbara, what's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome, welcome. So yeah, it's technically a morning stream. It's a bit of a late morning stream, but it's a morning stream, nonetheless. So send out those notifications. Make sure you hit that notification bell. I know it doesn't work all the time, right? It's a little it's a little kind of but at least give it a try, right? Sometimes that notification bell works. Sometimes. Morning, good morning, Kate. Welcome, welcome. I do appreciate that, Sanchez. I do. Travis, what's up, dude? Welcome, Travis. Hope I didn't interrupt your guys' voice chat over on the Discord. I noticed you guys were doing that. What's up, Mint? Yeah, exactly, exactly. What's up, Perp? What is up? What is up? Maddie was like, is he going live? He is. He is. We're here, man. We're here. Today we're talking about a total change of attitude. I figured it would go perfectly for today's stream because the last 4 or 5 days we've been talking about, taking advantage of feeling anxious, using it to your advantage, keeping your head above water by reminding yourself what's going on, in those moments where the anxiety is high. I've got a brain to retrain, right? Keeping that right attitude. We've really been talking about that the past 4 or 5 days now. So I figured we'd kind of sum up that entire topic with one last stream on completely changing the attitude. So, well, you did, but Maddie and Ghost were trying to leave anyway. They were trying to sneak out anyway. What's up, Olivia? Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You always go live when I write something on Discord. You always writing something on Discord. What do you mean? What do you mean? You always writing something on Discord. Let's see. Uh, Why is the bot being weird today? Why is the bot being weird today? SMH, I missed it. Most of the time when people do voice chat over on the Discord, they do try to announce it. They do try to announce it. What's up, Lucy? Welcome. We've already got a full chat today, man, so we don't have to wait around. I don't think we have to wait around today. We've already got a full chat in here. So, Maddie back in Discord. I don't. Is she? Is Maddie back in Discord? I don't think she is. No, I don't think she is. Let me see. Interesting. Interesting. Is she? I don't know. I didn't. Maybe. Maybe she has to be if she was in the voice chat, right? She has to be if she was in the voice chat. I write about my problems less these days. Oh, I thought you just meant in general. I thought you just meant in general. Um, all right, yeah, we already got a full chat. We might as well get started. No need to wait around. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about sensitization recovery. Go ahead and hit that like button. There needs to be a total change in attitude. Now, like I said, the past 4 or 5 days, we've really been talking about taking advantage of feeling anxious, keeping your head above water by reminding yourself, hey, this is not the real me. Maddie's apparently back in the Discord. That's awesome. Taking advantage of those anxious days by reminding yourself this is not the real me. These are false alarms. I need this in order to retrain my brain. All right. We've been talking about that correct attitude here recently quite heavily, and I figured we'd go ahead and kind of get off the topic, but sum it up. Sum it up today with one last stream. On that particular subject, that change of attitude. So, sensitization recovery, right? There needs to be a total change of attitude. You notice I've got the word total change of attitude there, the word total, right? A lot of people, when they're going through sensitization, what is sensitization? If you're new here, it just means you've got some tired nerves, right? Just means you've been beating your nerves up with a lot of worry, what Dr. Claire Weeks called second fear. It just means that you've got a brain that needs to be retrained. We might lag here for just a second for some reason. Looks like we're dropping frames. Should be okay though. Sensitization is just a fancy term that means you've got a brain that is wired to be very fearful over a lot of unnecessary things, and your nerves are tired, right? So you've got a brain that needs to be retrained. That is all the big fancy term sensitization means, right? Now, why is it necessary? Why is it absolutely necessary that we have a change of attitude here? Why is it absolutely necessary that when you're going through sensitization, all right, and you're trying to recover and you're trying to retrain your brain, so to speak, that you have a change of attitude? Because if you approach this thing with the attitude of, oh boy, I'm just going to try to get through another day here, okay, a lot of us are guilty of that. I know I was very guilty of that for a very long time, but if you approach sensitization with an attitude of just going to try to get through another day here, right? And I understand sometimes you might have those days where it feels like you're just trying to get through, right? But if your dominant attitude towards sensitization, tired nerves, retraining your brain, whatever you want to call it, if your dominant attitude is one of, oh shit, another day. If your dominant attitude is, oh shit, can I squeeze by today, right? If that's your dominant defeated attitude, we really have to work on it. We need you to get to a point where when you wake up each day and you open your eyes, you become your own best friend and you're able to encourage yourself enough to get motivated and get a little bit of confidence going. It doesn't even have to be very much. You can be at the bottom of the barrel, right? And you just get a little bit of momentum going, a little bit of confidence going, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody has to be perfect, but there needs to be a total change of attitude, right? Because if you're trying to retrain your brain, that means you're going to have to go up against some uncomfortable feelings. That's saying it lightly. Some very uncomfortable feelings, right? That means you're going to have to go up against, if you're highly sensitized, a lot of intrusive negative thoughts that normally wouldn't cause a bodily reaction, but they're going to cause a strong bodily reaction due to the fact that your nerves are tired. You're in a tired mind, a tired body. You're going to have to go up against these things, right? And while these things are there, you're going to have to keep the right attitude, the attitude of, okay, I need this because it's in these moments that I can retrain my brain. If I don't react as strongly to these feelings and thoughts and I just remind myself instead of telling all the horror stories, I just remind myself instead, okay, this is a false alarm, perfect opportunity. This is not the real me. It's time to show my brain the truth, right? If this becomes your more dominant attitude, as compared to the attitude of, oh shit, just got to try to make it through another day, if this becomes your dominant attitude and you start being your own best friend, you start encouraging yourself, you start motivating yourself, if this becomes your dominant attitude, the attitude of, I need this, let's put in the work, right? We know that anxiety learns the most while anxiety is turned on. If this becomes your dominant attitude, now we're on the right track. But if you're approaching this thing with the attitude of, oh fuck, I just got to try to make it through another day, hope I don't feel anxious today, we've got to work on that. We've got to work on that. Because if your attitude is one of dread, if your attitude is one of, I don't want to do this, if your attitude is one of, and I know it might sound insensitive to some people, but the truth of the matter is, if your attitude is one of self pity, right? More than likely, if that's your dominant attitude, you're not going to be doing the things that we need you to be doing in order to really show that brain the truth. What are the things that you need to be doing? Living your life, and when we say live your life, we don't mean anything special. We just mean don't change anything up too much for anxiety. Do things you would normally do. Do things that you enjoy, even though you don't necessarily feel like it. You're going to live your life because the false alarm is indeed false, but you need to prove that to your brain by continuing on. Good behaviors, right? And what's number two? What's number two of the two main keys? Stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. Simply remind yourself, this is a false alarm. I need this. No more horror stories. No more trying to debate and argue with it. Instead, just remind yourself, this wouldn't normally bother me. It's because I'm sensitized. False alarm. Let's put in the work, right? What is the work? Living life. What is the work? Trying to cut back on those coping methods. All these things that are sending the wrong signals, the wrong messages to the brain. You guys know what the two main keys are. Live your life. Stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. So you got to keep the right attitude during this. If you don't keep the right attitude, how can I expect you to live your life do the things you might necessarily not feel like doing because of anxiety, but you're going to do them anyway because that's the real you. That's what the real you would want, not the sensitized you, right? You're going to prove to your brain by cutting back on all these coping methods and live your life. How can I expect you to do this? How can I expect you to live your life, okay, and to stop fighting with these thoughts and feelings if your dominant attitude is, oh, I don't want this, just got to try to slug through another day. I hope I don't get anxious today. I hope those thoughts don't come back today, right? Now, I understand recovery is the end goal, and I'm not taking that from you. I understand that one day you do want to wake up and have less symptoms and have less thoughts. I understand that that is the end goal. Obviously, it's why you're here. But during the process, your dominant attitude should not be one of don't want to face anxiety today, really don't want to have symptoms today, really hope those thoughts don't return today. That cannot be the dominant attitude. Because if that's the dominant attitude, I cannot expect you to be able to use the two main keys. If you're going to use the two main keys, there needs to be a total change in attitude. There needs to be a change in attitude from dread to almost excitement to put in the work, right? There needs to be a total change in attitude from I hope the symptoms don't come today and I hope the thoughts don't come today to a change of attitude of I hope they do so that I can put in the work. See, there needs to be a change of attitude. There needs to be. If you're going to use these two keys, there needs to be a change of attitude. Now, am I saying that you're going to wake up tomorrow or you're going to turn this stream off, right? And you're just going to say, okay, change of attitude. We got this, and then just be perfect with it, and never add worry again in your life, and never have that old negative attitude again in your life. No, I'm not saying that's going to happen. That's unrealistic. But what I am saying is you need to work on it. Right? You need to work on it. So every opportunity, every chance that you get to really stick it to the anxiety, right? So let's say you're very anxious right now and you're having a lot of negative intrusive thoughts that normally wouldn't bother you, but you are sensitized. So feelings are going through the roof. You're having these thoughts, you're having these symptoms, whatever, right? You need to at least give it an effort, give it a try to say, okay, this is a good opportunity. See, now we're changing the perspective. Now we're changing the attitude. And then you go on and you do something you normally wouldn't do while you're feeling this anxious. Maybe here recently, while you've been feeling this anxious, you sit in the corner with a blanket over your head, right? Or you pace around the house, or whatever it is that you do, right? Or you sit on Dr. Google. You need to make it a point. You need to make it a point to say to yourself right now, we're not going to do those things today. In fact, we're going to welcome these symptoms. We're going to welcome these thoughts, not with a fight, not with a debate, not with an argument, but with an attitude of, I need this. I need this to prove to my brain that all is well. See, it's a total change of attitude. It's a complete 360 in the attitude. Because as long as your attitude remains one of, I don't want this, as long as your attitude remains one of, oh God, these thoughts, oh God, these feelings, the likelihood that you're going to live your life while you're feeling these ways, right? And remind yourself that instead of fighting with the thoughts and feelings, just remind yourself false alarm, put in the work. The likelihood of you doing that when you have the wrong underlying attitude is going to be very slim. So we need to work on the attitude. We need to change the attitude from I don't want this to I need this to prove to my brain what's up. And then we take advantage of it, right? So there's always two different ways, two different paths, two different roads that you can go when it comes to recovery. You can view these strong symptoms and these feelings, these thoughts as, oh fuck, more anxiety, don't want this, this used to be me. I'm talking from experience here. I don't want this. This is horrible. Not again. You can go that way. How are you going to use the two main keys if that's your attitude? How could you possibly use the two main keys if that's your attitude? Or we can start to work on a new attitude of I need this to recover. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm feeling anxious today. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that these thoughts are here today. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that these thoughts are causing me anxiety today. I'm going to take advantage of the way that I feel because I know this is not the real me. I know this is BS, and I'm going to prove that to my brain. Let's get it. Let's do it. And then you work on building this attitude. And if you work on building that attitude, whew, we're off to the races. We're off to the races. Before long, nobody will be able to stop you, right? But if you're not making a conscious effort, and when I say conscious, I mean a purpose, an effort with a purpose, right? If you don't make a conscious effort to work on this new attitude, and you just let the old attitude win every single time, you just let the old attitude run away with you every single time, you're not working at least trying to work on this new attitude, it's going to be difficult. Right? It's going to be difficult because that attitude, that fearful attitude, the I don't want this attitude, is already littered with second fear. It's littered with worry before we even get out the gates. Right? But if you put in an effort, and again, you don't have to be perfect to make progress. You don't. But if you put in the effort to at least build this new attitude and make better choices, like for example, okay, I'm feeling very anxious. I'm having these thoughts. You know what? I need this. I need this. This is my chance to do some work to my brain here. Okay, now we're building the new attitude. And you're going to say to yourself, normally I'd go ahead and lay down in bed and get on my phone on Dr. Google, and normally I would walk away from this. But you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this. I need this. I'm going to take advantage of this, and I'm going to do something that I normally wouldn't do. I'm going to do what I want to do in this moment. Right? See, now we're becoming self-aware and we're making better choices. Now we're becoming self-aware and we're living life. The two main keys, we're living life and we're not fighting with the thoughts and feelings. We are reminding ourselves that they are false alarms, that it's not the real us, that this is a perfect opportunity to put in the work. And then we're putting in that work by living life and not using so many coping methods. You see? So this is the two main keys. And if you adopt this attitude and you really practice this attitude, again, might not be perfect at it right away. But if you adopt this attitude and you really practice this attitude, you're going to go far. You're going to go far, but you got to put in work. It takes work. It takes effort. You can't listen to the streams. You can't get on the Discord. You can't get all the answers in the world and then, all right, don't really want to do this today. I guess I'll try to accept. I fucking hate this. This is horrible. I don't want to feel this. I hate having these thoughts. Makes me feel so bad. Not gonna work. Newsflash, not gonna work. Right? Not gonna work. Not gonna work. In fact, you're wasting your time even watching the streams or doing anything on the Discord or whatever if there's no effort being made. Why do I tell you this? Why do I tell you this? Is it to shame you? Oh, shame on you. Is it to be a douche? Is it to just be a douchebag because I feel like being a douchebag today? No, it's because somebody has to tell you. Somebody has to tell you or things are never going to change. Somebody has to tell you or you're going to continue to run in circles. Somebody has to tell you or you'll never get off the hamster wheel, right? Somebody has to shake you a little bit and say, hey, there's got to be a change of attitude here. Somebody has to shake you a little bit and say, hey, you got to do this thing, right? Somebody's got to shake you a little bit and say, all this information is doing nothing for you if you're not using it. Somebody's got to shake you a little bit and say, hey, you can take in all the information. You can become a fucking encyclopedia on anxiety recovery. And it's going to make no difference whatsoever if there's not a real effort being made to apply the things that you're hearing, right? There's gonna be no difference that's ever gonna be made, right? You can take in all the information you want to. You can learn all you want to about the subject. If there is no actual effort being made to implement the advice that you're learning, there's going to be no results. So somebody has to shake you a little bit and say, hey, I can tell you to change your attitude. Next time you're feeling anxious, remind yourself this is a false alarm. I need this to retrain my brain. I'm going to take advantage of this, right? I'm going to live my life today. I'm going to do things I want to do, even though I don't necessarily feel like it. I'm going to keep the correct accepting attitude while I kick ass today, right? I'm going to retrain my brain, show my brain the truth, right? You can know all that stuff. You can know all that stuff. I can tell you all that stuff. But if you're not actually making an effort to do any of that, and again, you don't have to be perfect, but if you're at least not practicing doing any of that, especially in the moment, then we're not going to get very far, right? We're not going to get very far. Someone says, how do you get over constant irritability and stuff constantly getting on your nerves? Same concept, right? So if you're sensitized, chances are you're probably going to be pretty irritable. Or maybe you're not sensitized, right? But things are getting on your nerves. Maybe you're mid-recovery or something, right? But if you have an attitude of, oh God, I don't want this. How do I push this away? What you resist tends to persist, right? Right? So what it's going to come down to at the end of the day, whether it Nova's going to butt in here for a second. Whether we're talking about irritability, whether we're talking about this symptom or that symptom, whatever we're talking about with anxiety here, right? It's going to come down to the same thing every single time. You've got a brain that needs to be retrained. We got kisses from Nova. Thank you. Thank you. So that's what it's going to come down to. That's what it's always going to come down to at the end of the day. And you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to put in the effort. You got to put in the work to do that, right? And I don't tell you that to shame you. I don't tell you that to sound like a douchebag. I tell you that because that's the facts, and you don't have to like them, but that is the facts. And I want to see you get better, and I want to see you do better. So there's no sense in holding hands. There's no sense in doing this or that. It's simply me telling you that what you hear here works. But if you're not making an effort to change the attitude, right? Next time you're anxious and you have these thoughts and feelings, if you don't make the effort to remind yourself, okay, this is just a false alarm, I'm going to take advantage of this, and then you live life even though you don't necessarily feel like it, you do things, right? You get shit done, and you keep your head above water while not fighting with the thoughts and feelings by reminding yourself that a false alarm is a false alarm and that you need this to recover, right? If you don't make the effort to put in the work to adopt that new attitude, nothing is going to happen. When we see it happen sometimes, right? We see people understanding what needs to be done and learning what needs to be done, but there's not a real effort being made. So the reason that sometimes I go off on these spills and I'm like, look, if you're not going to try, then don't expect progress. The reason that I try to shake people up a little bit is because sometimes people need to be shaken up a little bit. Because a lot of people take in the information, but how many people use it? Right? A lot of people take in the information, but how many people use it? Those of you who do use it recover. We've got a lot of recovered people here. Not to toot my own horn, but there is a fair amount of recovered people here, and we continue to see more, right, every single day. So it's a beautiful thing, but you got to actually use it. You got to actually use it. You got to actually use it. All right, you guys. So with that being said, that was the point of today's stream. Nova says hello. Of course, she doesn't know where to look, but there you go. There you go. She might fall asleep like this. She might actually fall asleep like this. Let's see. Nope, not gonna happen. This is hilarious. I could do this all day long. I wonder if she gets confused about him talking to himself. Probably. Well, probably not, because she's probably used to the whole headset thing by now. Maybe she's made the connection. When I put on the headset, I'm talking to somebody. I'm trying to use my hands here as like a pillow for her. If anyone has trouble with the stream, refresh the page or back out and then click on it again. Absolutely. Yeah, because sometimes that does happen. I don't know why. All right, she's getting sick of that. She's getting tired of that. All right. All right, big girl. Ugh. If you lay down, that's fine. But you're squishing me. Let me see here. It's a lot of work. Try, fail, try again. Still recovering. During recovery, did you experience extreme fatigue? Of course, the brain used you depressed. I'm like, oh great. I hope I do. So yeah, not going against the thoughts, not arguing with the thoughts, just being sarcastic with the thoughts. You know that it's not the quote unquote real you. Um, Your question is, during recovery, did you experience extreme fatigue? Most people do while they're healing. Not everybody, but most people do, because you got to think about it. Your body and mind has been through a lot. Your body and mind has been through a lot. So when you start to heal, okay, of course you're going to feel fatigued. I wouldn't be so quick to put the label of depressed on yourself, right? I wouldn't be so quick to put the label of depressed on yourself. If you think about it, it's totally normal and to be expected to feel tired and fatigued after all that your body and mind has been through, right? That will be a nude card meme, you know. I'm sure it will. I was on the phone. What's up, Truth? Welcome. Hey, you're here now. You can always catch the streams after they've happened. Don't forget that. And don't forget to hit the like on the stream. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, Sanchez. All right, I think she's done with us. I think Nova is done with us. All about that change of attitude, guys. All about that change of attitude. Nope. Are you back? Yep, she's decided to come back. What is she doing? Can't make up her mind. That's my line, Sanchez. Hey, I do appreciate that. I've been noticing that. The admins are nowadays are more likely to tell people to like the stream, and I do appreciate that. Stick to the holiday emojis. Nova's lovable today. Nova's being sociable today. I do appreciate that. Every like we get really does help the streams grow, man. It helps get this information out there to the people who might need it. You're slacking, Kate. Hey, Sam. Sam, thank you, dude. Sam coming in with the $5 tip. First tip, man. Thank you. I appreciate you, dude. Let's show Sam some love in the chat, man. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate you, man. Mind is tricky, man. It can be, but you got to keep your head above water by reminding yourself what's going on, right? Instead of falling down the rabbit holes, you got to remind yourself what's going on. Um, Getting to a much better place. Thanks, Wonder Bro. But one thing I struggle to shake is head noise, worrying that I'm hearing voices or have rumination. Is this likely to be down to sensitization? Well, you got to remember, worry doesn't accomplish anything. So we're under the very false illusion in life that worry actually does something. Worry keeps the nerves stressed, and that's really all worry does do. So, you have the thought, oh, maybe this is going on or maybe this is going on. You know that you're dealing with anxiety, right? But you have these thoughts that say maybe otherwise, right? You have a choice. You can react to those thoughts in a very second fear type of way, which is worry, right? Which is just going to reinforce to the brain that these thoughts are important or somehow dangerous. Or you can accept these thoughts and feelings, live your life. That is the two main keys right there. And you can slowly start to prove to the brain that these thoughts and feelings are indeed not dangerous. And they're not a real tiger in the room with you. And they don't deserve the credit that they are getting, right? Always a choice there. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Sometimes I say 360. I should be saying 180. Sam, a regular tipper. Sam is a regular tipper. Shout out to Sam, dude. Hey, man, I've been listening for maybe 2.5 years now. Awesome. Your wisdom has been keeping helping me. I will keep coming back to your stream. Thanks, man. Hey, I appreciate that, dude. Keep applying the advice. Keep applying the advice. You might have some ups and downs. Keep applying it. I don't know why I can't exercise. I feel bad that I'm a fat ass. You call yourself a fat ass. I've literally never seen someone so skinny. But I feel bad when I exercise. It's like I'm falling into depression after that. So you call yourself a fat ass, but I've literally never seen someone so skinny in my life. So the rest of us really feel like fat asses now. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Because if you're a fat ass, then what does that make me? Okay? If you're a fat ass, right? When you're literally the skinniest dude I've seen in a long time, then what does that make me? I must be fucking huge if that's the case, so I appreciate it, man. Thanks, dude. Thanks. We're gonna have to go to post-stream. I'm gonna cry, man. I can't take it, dude. I can't take it, man. Because if he's fat, then that means I'm fucking humongous. That means I'm fucking humongous, dude. I can't take it, dude. Hey, let's see who we got here. Oh man, we got a name that I can't pronounce. I hate when this happens. We've got a $25 tip that says for Xmas, but I can't pronounce. I can't pronounce their name, and I hate it when this happens. I always feel so bad about this. Here, let's do this. We got the $25 Cash App. Let's do this. If you were responsible for the $25 Cash App, please let me know in the comments, like right now. Let me know in the comments, like right now. All right? Because I can't pronounce your name, and I want to give you a big thank you, but I will totally butcher your name. So let me know in the comments if you were responsible for the $25 Cash App. Oh, private, please. You are not fat. Exactly, Wonder Bro. That's what I always do when someone tells me that they're fat. Like, if they're my, friend or whatever, and they're complaining about being fat to me, and I'm like, alright, you think you're fat. You're calling yourself fat. Look at me. What the fuck you trying to say? What the fuck you trying to say? If you're calling yourself fat, look at me. Jesus. If that's the case, I am more huge than you, Chris. Not a good reason to exercise. That doesn't sound healthy at all. Not a good. Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, Mitt. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. Try not to butcher the name. Try to butcher the name. You want me to try to butcher the name. All right. I'm not getting. Maybe if it was Life of Riley. All right. Life of Riley says me. Merry Christmas. Life of Riley with the $25 tip. There you go. There you go. Now I don't have to try. I don't have to butcher the name. Thank you so much, Life of Riley. I appreciate you. $25 tip, man. Thank you. Thank you. We're 1 day away from a 60-day streak, chat. We are 1 day away from a 60-day streak. 1 day away. Sanchez with the pancakes and the bacon, man. We're not exercising. We're not exercising over here. Hey, nothing against exercise. Nothing against all these healthy little bonus point things, right? That's what I call them. I call them bonus points. People say, should we exercise? I say, if you really want to. People say, should we eat better diets? And I say, if you really want to. I never say you need to be able to heal your nerves, because that's just not true. I'm walking proof of that, and a lot of us are walking proof of that, right? But if you want to do these things, I'll never bash them. I say go for it, right? I'm proud of you, go for it. But these things are they necessary to heal your nerves? No, no. But if you want to add that on, sure. Say it, Wonder Bro. I don't know if they're cool with me saying their like real name. I don't know. If they're cool with it, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try. Okay, never mind. They've already typed it in chat. They must be cool with it. All right, I'll give it a try. Joe, no, yeah, no. Joe A. Chim. Joe A. Kim. Joe A. Kim. Is that right? I mean, it must be right. That's what they typed. Joe A. Kim. Joe A. Kim. Interesting. I don't think I'm doing it right. Interesting. 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 Was it me, Ghost? Maddie is back on the Discord. Maddie is back on the Discord. She's just under a different name, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. Perfect. Okay, so that was right. All right. Cool. Cool, man. I feel like alcohol makes anxiety worse. That's because it does. You are right. Well, not necessarily. I don't know if you put it that way. I don't think it necessarily makes it worse, but there is real physical, things that come along with drinking. So, I never recommend that somebody that's sensitized drink, but at the same time, it's completely up to them. I knew she would be back. I told y'all. Eventually. We knew she would be back eventually. I knew it was her the minute she joined. Swear bear. Just to say thank you. Your strategies are really great and practical. I'm much more in control. Thanks once again. You really are a wonder bro. Hey, I appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much. That's nice of you. Thank you. You gotta face some discomfort in this journey, but it's worth it. If you face it with the right attitude, it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. That was the point of today's stream. Face it with the right attitude, man. Do some fitness streams? Unlikely. Hey, I started exercising a little bit there for a while. I didn't keep it up. Chris, lately I'm feeling so much better. This is the first Christmas in many years where I look forward to go to a big family meeting. I will always be in your debt. Thank you so much for that, dude. I appreciate that. That's why we do what we do, man, to hear stuff like that. That's why we do what we do. Thank you for sharing. Comments like that also help motivate other people too, so everybody wins. Thank you for that. Excuse me, Nova. What are you doing? Thank you. For everyone here, Warner Bros. Advice is spot on. I recovered after about 6 months of fighting. Live your life like you did before anxiety, and you will heal. Thank you, Chris, for this much needed channel. That's awesome, dude, and the way you summed that up there is perfect. Live your life like the way you did before anxiety, and of course, while you do that, accepting attitude, right? Right? I like the way you summed that up there, but let's add that little bit to it. Live your life like you did before anxiety, but with the accepting attitude while you do that. With the accepting attitude while you do that. That's awesome, dude. So happy for your success. We've had a lot of positive comments in here today. A lot of recovery comments. I love to see it. Whoa now, Arnold. Whoa now. Whoa now. Wonder Bro, since you've been back, your streams have been on point. Maybe I did need the break, right? Let's be honest. I didn't. I was forced to take that little break. It's not something I wanted, but maybe I needed it. I don't know. I appreciate that though. Thank you, Kate. Keep in mind, you know, Life O'Reilly says live your life like you did before anxiety. You're not necessarily going to feel like doing that, but the reason you're going to do it anyway is because you know how this game is played. The reason you're going to do it anyway is because you know how a brain learns. Ugh, tongue tied. A brain learns. There you go. So that's why you're going to do it anyway, even though you don't necessarily feel like it. You now know how this cycle works, right? You know that the brain is watching, you know that the brain is learning. Always good to kind of mention that because a lot of people think, well, if I don't feel like it, then I'm not going to. Well, if you keep using anxious behaviors, not living your life, yada, 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 we're not going to get very far. So just because you don't necessarily feel like it doesn't mean you shouldn't, right? You're going to because you know how the game works now. You know how this cycle works now. You've got every reason in the world to do it now, right? Even her name sound more aggressive now. At Last Alive, good book, Dare. I would say your channel has a great role in my desensitization and any other books or channels. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. Hey, most importantly, keep at it. Most importantly, keep at it. Don't forget to post your Christmas tree pic on the Discord. I did. It's the first one up there. I posted it as soon as I made the channel. You might have to scroll a while, but it's up there. It is up there. It's not nearly as badass as some of the trees I've seen on there, which by the way, the Christmas tree competition that we're holding over on the Discord that ends tomorrow. Ends tomorrow. So if you want to partake in that, now is your chance. It's one of your last chance. You got to get that tree in today. Got to get that tree in today. Ends tomorrow. When we first announced it, we announced that it would be over on the 20th. So, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me grab. Let me grab that Discord link. If anybody wants to join us over there, maybe you just want to join us for that and that alone, and that's cool. Where are we? Okay, here we are. Here we are. There we go. I saw it. I meant for everyone else. I'm still confused. I'm confused, Sanchez. What do you mean? Everyone else seen it too? I'm so confused. I'm confused, man. Nope, no cheating, no cheating from Google. I'm a reverse image search that shit. You guys usually wait 2 days before Christmas to put up a tree? That's interesting. That is interesting. Different traditions, I guess. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. The day before. The day before. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting tradition. I don't know. I don't know. We always put our tree up like fairly early, like a month before. Okay, that's what he meant. You got it, Mike. I took it too literally. I took what Sanchez was trying to say way too literally. He meant if you want to be a part of the Christmas tree competition to make sure you post your pic over there on the Discord. Absolutely. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense, Mint. You get a live tree, so okay, gotcha. The day after Thanksgiving is when I get my decoration on. Ah, okay, yep, same. Usually like a month early. Sanchez also said, "Did I hear a soda pop?" Maybe, maybe, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I still have to figure out exactly how we're gonna do the voting on the Christmas trees. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure yet. Still gotta figure that part of the equation out. Still gotta figure that out. For breakfast, of course not. For breakfast, I had a Hot Pocket. How are we going to determine who the winner is from all those awesome tree picks? Yeah, exactly. I'm not quite sure yet. I'm not quite sure. I'd like for everybody to vote with reacts, but we'll have like a special react, right? So it's a little hectic, but we'll have just like one special emote, and of course you can only vote for one tree per person, and that might be how we end up doing it. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm just here doing my thing, and then thoughts come with bad suggestions, and I forget how to do stuff and get confused. Well, you have to accept that that's going to come with it, right? We talked about this yesterday. We talked about this on yesterday's stream. You have to accept that that's going to come with the current state of body and mind, right? So first and foremost, we accept that that just comes with the territory that we're in, and then we leave it there, and then we leave it there. We don't take it any further than that. We leave it at the fact that we have these thoughts, we have these feelings because of the state that we're in, and we leave it there. We don't try to investigate any further than that. We don't try to go any deeper than that. We leave it there, because what normally happens is when you start trying to figure it out past that point, right? When you start trying to figure it out past that point, that's when we get in trouble. That's when we get in a bit of trouble. The new Spider-Man is a good movie. I probably won't watch it, to be honest. I probably won't watch it, just because I've never really been a huge fan of superhero movies. But I understand. I understand the love for superhero movies. It's just never been my thing, I guess. No spoilers, please. Yes, no spoilers. No spoilers. Let's be nice. No spoilers. You may not be able to do it smoothly, Mint, right? But as long as you keep the right attitude about it, smooth, not smooth is irrelevant. As long as you keep the right attitude about what's going on, which is a non-second fear attitude, smooth, not smooth, as long as you carry on. Wonder bro, you need to take the comments out so all we see are trees. That's how I was trying to do it, but for some reason people have been chatting in the tree competition chat like it's a chat room. I don't know. I thought it was obvious not to do that, but apparently it wasn't obvious. So I'm gonna have to go and delete all these comments out of it. I tried to set it up yesterday to where it was like media only, but for some reason that didn't work. People couldn't post their trees at that point. But you are right. I was hoping that it would just be all tree pics, but people started chatting in the fucking thing, so I don't know. It's gonna take a while, but I will have to go remove all those eventually so that it's easier to navigate that. Damn you guys. Damn you. Alright. Let's see. Nah, it shouldn't be that bad. Might take a minute. It shouldn't be that bad though. I realize why I have anxiety over the most trivial thing. I already realized why you have anxiety over the most trivial thing. It's because you're sensitized. You got tired nerves. You got a brain that needs to be retrained. You have 1,000 admins. They can help. I think the admins are the ones who wrote in it the most. You guys are cracking me up, man. Stop. I'm not gonna say any names on who who sounds like that when they laugh, but it's absolutely hilarious. If someone is a big movies fan and wants to see something original and get very disturbed, then go watch a French psychological horror movie, The Something. This is the most underrated masterpiece ever. I don't even think I've heard of that. The admins can't delete in that channel? Let me see. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Actually, it's not that very many, so this should only take a second. Just realized why my name is green. Hey, you got that badge, bro. Not many people have that badge. Okay, let's do a little test here, chat. Let's do a little test here. I'm going to mess with the settings real quick. I'm going to mess with the settings real quick in that channel. And we're going to do send messages off, but attach files on. So can somebody do me a favor? Any of you, it doesn't matter. Can somebody do me a favor, run over there real quick, see if you can attach a file in there, like a picture or whatever, but also make sure that you can't type. Because I tried this yesterday, for some reason it didn't work. Maybe it'll work today. Yeah, see, it doesn't work. See, now we can't post trees. Yeah, see, it doesn't work like that for some reason. Okay, so we'll turn that back on. Alright. That's fine. We'll just make an announcement. We'll just make an announcement instead. We'll just announce to everybody just to use it for media only. Everyone. Alright, we just made a little announcement there. There we go. We're good. We're good. You should be able to post the pics now. I had to change it back, but the goal was to make it to where you could only upload pictures to the channel, and that would be it. And then, let me see. Oh my God! Stop writing in it, for fuck's sake! It's not hard, people. Jesus Christ. Okay, I tried. I give up. I give up. So it worked there for a second before you turned on the messaging. So it's working or it's not working. Let me try this again. Because clearly people can't follow instructions. So let's try this one more time. We're gonna turn off messages, but we're gonna leave on attach files. So go tell me if you can attach a file. You can't message, but tell me if you can attach a file. I know you can't message, but tell me if you can attach a file. Somebody go try that out for me real quick. Somebody go try that out for me real quick. Okay, so it's not working. You can't attach files. I know you can't message, but can you attach files? I'll wait to see what you guys say. Okay, so you can't attach, you can't do anything. Okay, so that's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to leave messages turned on. I got this. 1 second. Okay, online, on the official Discord forum. Yeah, you can now because I changed it back. On the official Discord forum, it says that you have to have the send messages permission enabled in order to attach files. So yeah, there's nothing we can do about it apparently, which sucks. But there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, it works now, Maddie, because I turned it back on. But you can still send messages. So you have to have send messages enabled in order to attach files. Maddie's like, you go too fast. Wait, no, I know more than Discord. I know more than the official Discord website. Maddie kills me. Wait, no, I'm the one who coded Discord. Jesus, what am I gonna do? Ghost is bossy today. Ghost is a little bit bossy today, I noticed that. Just kidding, Ghost. Just kidding. Unfortunately, Arnold, I do have to delete the fake trees. They're funny. Don't get me wrong. They're funny, but I have to delete the fake trees. We gotta see what we're really working with here for this competition. Bossy, the fuck is that? Okay, we got that cleaned up. We got that nice and cleaned up. We got that nice and cleaned up. I don't go, I stay. Hey, what's up, expressing yourself? Welcome, dude. You've never heard that term? Can we have Gift War champs badges? We should. That's actually not a bad idea. I don't know how do you guys determine the winner on that though? How do you guys even determine that? Ghost is living today, man. Ghost is just living. I wonder, bro, why are intrusive thoughts so overpowering? They can feel overpowering, and they can feel very real because your nerves are so tired. So if you have a very tired nervous system and you have intrusive thoughts, to the brain and to the body, that's a very real danger. It's not a real danger, and it's your job to prove it's not a real danger by not fighting with these thoughts and feelings, right? Accepting attitude and living life. So it's your job to prove it's not a real danger, but to the brain and body, especially the tired body, these things are real dangers. It doesn't know any better, and that's why they seem so real. Your job is to prove that they're not. Not by fighting with them, not trying to prove them wrong, but by simply accepting the thoughts and feelings, living your life accepting attitude. So, I don't even have a picture with my tree last year. Mike wins always, that's how it's determined. So, Mike is always just the self declared winner of the Gift Wars. I don't know, maybe, okay, I'll make you a deal. Maybe if you guys come up with a more solid direction on how you determine your winners over there, or your winner, rather, then maybe we could do badges for it. But I feel like the gift wars are just kind of all over the place. I feel like they're just kind of all over the place. I don't even think you guys know who's winning. To be fair, I mean, it would be kind of difficult to determine that. To be fair, to be fair. Kate too sensitive for it anyway. I check on the GIF wars from time to time. You guys need to have like a time cap. There needs to be a time cap, so a certain amount of time passes between the last person to send a GIF, right? I don't know, like 5 minutes or something, 10 minutes or something. Maybe that's too much, but I think you get my point. After a certain amount of time passes, that's pretty much the end of it. For that day or whatever. Maddie's the real MVP of it. Looks like he left again, Mint. No, he didn't leave. He's in. He didn't leave. He's in. His name's not Captain A anymore. It's Captain Red Bull. We changed his name to Captain Red Bull because of how obsessed he's been recently with Red Bulls for some reason. Oh, Maddie, you jokester. You prankster, you. Yeah, I answered it, Matt. Who left? Nobody left. Maddie's just being a prankster. You guys should come together and come up with some solid rules for your GIF wars. Lucy versus Wonder Bros, Sanchez versus Mike, Maddie versus Mike. I learned how to say her name yesterday and I've forgotten. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Wait a minute. It's Mi Chi. Yeah, there we go. That was it, right? Pretty sure that was it. Got it right. Yeah, see, I remembered. I remembered. Is it bad to come back to your videos when you are feeling anxious? Not necessarily, as long as you're using what you're hearing. And that's what I always tell people when they ask me that question. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you come to my videos when you're feeling anxious. However, if you're gaining the information and not using it, so let's say, for example, you know very well that when you're anxious, you need to keep the right attitude, the accepting attitude, the I need this attitude, right? Right? But you know, if you know this information, you're not using this information, and then you're just using the streams and the videos kind of like a crutch. You're not actually using what you're hearing. You're not actually making an effort to use what you're hearing. Then that could be considered a bad thing, yeah. So it really depends. It really depends. I'll be honest with you, Arnold. I avoided your comment because I have no clue what you're talking about. How Wonderbro can make himself to win. I don't know what you're talking about. I've kind of learnt as time goes on. Like I'll just like peep in the corner there, and if it's like Maddie's name or if it's Arnold's name, I'm just like, oh, you know, my eyes are gonna wander elsewhere. Didn't see that. Didn't see that. What do you mean? How could you cheat in a GIF war? It's like, oh, this, just gonna move my eyes over here. Didn't see that. Selective reading. Oh, you can. You're talking about the Christmas tree contest. I would never do that. I think we're all talking about different things at this point. I think Arnold's referring to the Christmas tree thing, and everyone else is referring to GIF wars. No cheating in the GIF wars. Admins can't delete. I think you're overthinking it, Mitt. There's a good chance that you're overthinking it. So you say, I don't know if I'm acting on my own will or bad thoughts, or you're definitely down a rabbit hole already, right? So let's just pull it back and let's make it simple on yourself. Let's pull it back. Let's make it simple on yourself. Right? How do we do that? How do we pull it back and make it simple on ourselves? Well, if we're that deep, where we're in that rabbit hole of am I doing this and this and this and this and this, we simply come back to, okay, got some false alarms going on, just gonna live my life. What does that consist of? Doing whatever you want to do, right? And the moment you start to go down the rabbit hole of you're too far. You're too far gone, right? You need to come back, make it simple on ourselves. Always got to come back to that. Because the interesting thing about that is the further down that rabbit hole you go, the further you're going to get away from really any definite answers. There's no definite answers there, right? And it's just a rabbit hole. So we got to make it simple on ourselves. We got to come back, make it simple on ourselves, right? Okay, I'm having some false alarms, gonna live life, which means do what you want to do. And the moment you start to go down the rabbit hole of, am I doing this and then blah 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 blah, you're too far gone, right? We need to come back, make it simple on ourselves. AC, what's up, AC? Good to see you. AC. There is a rabbit hole that exists for every possibility, and that includes overthinking recovery itself. And that's why I always say keep it simple. Keep it simple. Those two keys, they don't need to be investigated any deeper, right? And your mind might say, "Oh, well, I gotta investigate it deeper. I'm gonna do it wrong," and that's just more rabbit holes, right? Just more rabbit holes. Take the two main keys for face value. So when we say live your life, that means do what you want to do, and when we say stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings, that means keep that right attitude. Right, the accepting attitude, some false alarms here. Going to continue living normally, not going to fight with these thoughts and feelings. Your mind might say, well, yeah, but am I doing this, right? We've talked about that before. The whole am I doing this right rabbit hole. That's a big one, right? We don't want to fight with that. We want to simply accept these thoughts and feelings. Carry on, right? Carry on. We want to keep it simple. We don't want to go so damn deep, right? Here's a pretty simple, easy way to put it, Mint. Do anything, literally anything, as long as it's not something to try to fight with anxiety, right? So no sitting in corners, no Dr. Google, no none of these old behaviors that you would normally do to try to fight with your anxiety. You're doing what you want to do. You're calling your own shots now. That's a good way to put it. You're calling your own shots now. So in the rabbit hole of blah 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 this and blah 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 that, not worth it. Keep it very simple for yourself. It's best to always keep it very simple for yourself. Live your life, right? Whatever that might be. If you feel like picking your nose, pick your nose. Um, the mind says it's not very clear to me what I want to do. Well, you don't have to go down that rabbit hole, because the moment you go down that rabbit hole, then we're going to be trying to figure out what's clear and not clear, probably for the remainder of the day, which is not going to be good for the nerves, right? So we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. We want to accept that the mind says, oh, what's clear, what's not clear. We want to accept these thoughts and feelings. We want to accept the obsessive mind. We want to accept these things that come and these things that go. And we just want to continue doing what we want to do. So live your life and stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings really should be taken at face value. And the moment the mind tries to get you down this deep dark rabbit hole of yeah this and yeah that and that, we should leave that alone, because if we don't, we'll probably spend the remainder of the day trying to figure out all these little minor details, which in the end is just not good for the nerves, just not good for the nerves whatsoever. Because, I mean, let's face it, nobody wants to hear it, but let's face it, what is that really? That's just more obsession. More obsession. We know that obsession is something we want to not partake in, right? So I know it's tempting because the mind makes it sound so important or seem so important, but obsession is not something that we want to necessarily partake in. And you don't necessarily need a bunch of thoughts to be able to live your life. So you say, I can't really hear my own thoughts. Well, stop trying to hear anything and just do, right? So a lot of people think, well, without thoughts, I can't do. You can do without thoughts, right? If I go get up and I need to go use the bathroom, I'm going to use the bathroom. I don't necessarily have to have thoughts to do that. I don't really have to think about that too much, right? So you do what you want to do. You don't really have to have an entire symphony in your head, like directing everything that you do, right? So when we say live your life, you do what you want to do. You don't necessarily have to go to the mental drawing board and plan that out. So if I'm feeling extra anxious today and I'm having a ton of thoughts, I can keep the right attitude, right? Which is to not fight with the thoughts and feelings. So I can keep the right attitude, okay? That right attitude being acceptance. Is there an ad playing? There is an ad playing. The right attitude being acceptance. Okay, so first and foremost, there's the acceptance of the thoughts and feelings. There's the accepting attitude. Here's the false alarm. I need this to retrain my brain. And then, as far as the live your life part of the equation goes, if you start to obsess about, oh, well, what does that mean? What does that mean, live your life? I can't hear my own self think. I don't know what it means to live my. You're still obsessing, right? So, first and foremost, the accepting attitude. I accept the way I feel. I accept the thoughts. I accept the feelings, right? Right? I accept the thoughts, I accept the feelings, the accepting attitude, false alarm, okay? And then the live your life part of the equation, if you start obsessing over that, well, you're still obsessing. You're still obsessing. You're not doing the first part of the equation, right? The first part of the equation is that we accept that we're going to have thoughts that make us second guess ourselves. We accept that we're going to have false alarms, right? So that's the first part of the equation. And if you're obsessing over live your life, well, then you're still obsessing. That's not acceptance, right? Right? So when it comes to live your life, this happens pretty naturally. Basically means cut out the coping methods. So there's a lot of coping methods that we do with our behaviors that hinder us living our lives. So instead of, I don't know, what's a good example? Instead of watching that movie because we want to watch that movie, we're on Dr. Google, right? So really, live your life comes down to cutting out, the coping methods and doing what you want to do. It's not something you have to perfect, right? It's just a cutting out of the old coping method behaviors. We don't really use the term coping method a whole lot around here, but that's basically what it is. So I don't know. Maybe that makes it clear for you. If we don't call it living your life and we call it cutting out coping methods, maybe that makes it a bit more clear for you, and you're less likely to obsess about that. Right? So if that helps you, you don't have to call it living your life. You can call it cutting out coping methods, coping behaviors, whatever. Um, if that helps make it more clear in your mind, then by all means. It's a very gradual process, David. It's a very gradual process. Recovery is not really a day where you wake up and there's a ton of bells and whistles, and it's not really this grand moment. It's more of a gradual process where you start to notice yourself, and when I say yourself, I mean your true self, the non-sensitized self, start to come back in little and big ways, right? So it's more of a gradual process than it is a day where you're gonna have like this grand moment, right? It's very much more of a gradual process. So don't necessarily wait around, David, for this great big day where everything's just gonna like you're 100%. You wake up one day or whatever. It's more of a gradual process. You stick to the two main keys, right? You cut out the coping methods. Basically, just means live your life for you, right? With these behaviors, and have that accepting attitude, what we call not fighting with the thoughts and feelings. The accepting I need this attitude instead of the I don't want this attitude. The attitude of okay, this is a false alarm. I'm going to take advantage of it, right? You stick with those two main keys, the accepting attitude, right? Not fighting with the thoughts and feelings and living your life, and you'll start to see gradual change. You'll start to see gradual change. Now that's a good way to put it, Express. That's a good way to put it. I mean, of course, there's so many different ways that you can put it. I understand that sometimes people even obsess about that itself, which is very ironic. Um, but that's why we try to keep it as simple as possible. That's why we try to keep it as simple as possible because I am aware that people can obsess not only about whatever, but they can also obsess about recovery itself. I'm extremely aware of that, and that's why I try to keep it so simple. Never actually tried the acceptance method until the end of this year, but had one setback. So finally you're on board, right? Which is what you're telling me. Finally, I'm on board. Finally, I'm to the point where I'm ready to try this thing because I can't stand, carrying on with the way that I'm currently doing things. I'm going to try something new. So finally, you are on board, which is great. Doesn't matter how long it took you to get there. You're there now. So let's not worry too much about the past. You're there now. Let's focus on these new skills that we're learning, right? The accepting attitude, living your life, taking advantage of these false alarms, remembering in the heat of the moment that they are indeed false alarms, right? That way you don't fall to second fear, aka worry. You practice these things and we'll start to see some change. So don't worry about how long you've been there, or, I waited this long to try acceptance and beat yourself up over that. Doesn't matter. You're here now, right? You're here now, and the important thing is you're practicing what works now. So, past irrelevant. Past irrelevant. Let's put our effort into working on what works now instead of worrying too much about how long it took us to get here. You're all very capable. You're all very capable, and these are some strong habits, of course. I realize that. These are some strong habits, and sometimes you succumb to these old habits, and you got to get yourself right back on board, and that's fine. And I know that these habits can be strong, and very strong at times, right? And very easy to give into. That's another good way to put it. Very easy to give into these old habits, but keep working at it because it very much is a practice. We've been using the word build a lot here recently, building the accepting attitude, because it very much is something that you build at, right? Little successes, little victories. I mean, all this adds up. Working on this new attitude, every bit of work matters. It all counts. It all counts. All right, guys, we're about to end this one. We are about to end this one here in just a bit. You think what you did wrong. Hold on, where's this comment? Okay, there we go. I rewatched the yesterday's stream. You talked about after breakup, you think about what you did wrong and try to be better than that. Well, if you're an overthinker, how can you do that? So we're not talking about sensitization all the time, right? Sometimes we do get questions about things that are not sensitized related. Somebody asked about a breakup, and we say that it's a very mature thing to do to see, maybe where you could have improved, or maybe if you were at fault for anything or outblamed anything, maybe if there was anything on your end that could use improvement, right? And that's something you don't have to immediately do. That's something you don't have to immediately do right after the breakup. You can give it time, you can heal, and then maybe you can think back on it later and improve yourself. So at the end of the day, even though people are here to recover and they're here because of sensitization, there are other questions that come into play that people have sometimes. That's not necessarily involving anxiety. How do I improve myself after a breakup? So forth and so on, right? And these are questions that are worth answering. But I get what you're saying. If you're sensitized, you're probably, gonna overthink that. However, there are other areas in life where people do want to improve, and that's a part of things. But I get where you're coming from too. If you're sensitized, you probably are gonna overthink that. But nonetheless, it's still a mature thing to do. Like after you heal from a breakup, maybe you give it some time, and then you want to do some self-reflection and see if there's areas that maybe you can grow. It is a very mature thing to do, nonetheless. So you mean I will not overthink that when I'm not sensitized? There's a lot of things you probably won't overthink to the degree that you're overthinking them now when you're not sensitized. A part of being sensitized is a lot of obsessive thoughts, a lot of thoughts coming left and right, and then they cause a big reaction in the body, right? Because the nerves are so tired, and that makes you want to obsess on that, and unfortunately most people do go that route. But as you break that and you start to break out of the sensitized cycle, you start to heal the nerves, chances that you're going to react so strongly to these things very, very low, because when you're not sensitized, your body does not overreact the way that it does now, right? When you're not sensitized, the body does not overreact the way that it does now. So it's gonna, to answer your question, it's gonna be a lot easier to deal with things, right? When you're not sensitized, that's a pretty simple, good way to put that. It's gonna be a lot easier to deal with things when you're not sensitized, as far as thinking them through, or maybe using your thinking mind a little bit more efficiently. It's gonna be easier because your body is not gonna be so primed to overreact. You got to remember, I know sensitization sounds like a very big fancy word. I know that. But at the end of the day, sensitization simply means that you have a body that's overreacting, right, to your thoughts. Overreacting to your thoughts, overreacting to situations. It's basically just means an overreacting body because you do have tired nerves. Are we going to break the streak? I think we're going to break the streak. I don't know. I don't know. That was a good question, though, Arnold. And it's starting to get cold as shit. We're gonna have to close the windows around here. 33 degrees. The hourglass. The hourglass. Nobody panic. Nobody panic. The streak has to end eventually. The streak has to end eventually. Nobody panic. Maddie! That scared me. That scared me. Why do I always leave it on 100 every single time? Maddie, thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. Maddie, my girl, thank you so much. That really helped me. Crap, why does that keep disappearing? That really helped me that you said some thoughts can start with what if, and it's not second fear that you added. I have a lot of what if thoughts. Some thoughts can start. Some thoughts can start with what if. You might have an intrusive thought that says, what if this bad thing happens, right? So yeah, some thoughts can start with what if. An example of second fear would be you get a negative intrusive thought, and then to that thought you add what ifs, right? And then to that thought you add what ifs. But some thoughts themselves can start with what if. Very, very true. It's okay expressing. That's no big deal, dude. I need a dollar, that's what I need. Mint, thank you so much. I'm glad I remembered to turn that down. Thank you so much, Mint. We are moving on to a 60-day streak. We got there. We got there. I told you guys not to panic. I told you not to panic. We got there. We got there. Thank you so much, Mint. Holy shit. All right, everybody chill. Everybody chill. We got there. We got there. David coming in with the 20 said, no, we not breaking this streak. We not breaking this streak. So we got there, but David came in. He was going to make sure that we didn't break the streak. David, thank you so much. We got there. We got there. Everybody chill. We got there. We got there. Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Mint. Thank you so much, Maddie. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, that scared myself. I'm telling you, it's loud. It's loud, man. When you leave it on 100, it's loud. Thank you, David. I appreciate you, dude. David was like, nah, we're not breaking the streak. Mint was thinking the same thing. Maddie was also thinking the same thing, and now we broke the goal. So we're good now. We're good. We're good. Everybody can chill. We're moving on to that 60-day streak. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. There is no pressure there, right? When we reach those moments where we're like, okay, the streak might end, there's no pressure there. Okay, the streak's got to end eventually. So I don't want anybody freaking out about it. We gotta take it for what it is. But it's not ending today. It's not ending today. Thanks to you guys. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Chris said, I don't have income, I can't clear debt. She's saying I'm lucky and she doesn't have skill to earn money, and she's saying to die. Help me wonder, bro. I am in disbelief. So a lot of family drama, it sounds like. A lot of family drama going on for you. Now I'll give you a bit of my personal experience. When I was going through recovery, when I was trying to learn about acceptance and really practice acceptance, I had a lot of family drama myself. Family drama tends to pass, right? Family drama, family stress tends to pass. Sometimes emotions are high. Sometimes people say things that they don't necessarily mean. Sometimes people get really upset, right? Dealing with family drama while you're in recovery is not the easiest thing in the world. I'll give you that. It's not the easiest thing in the world to deal with, because ideally we wish that we could learn about acceptance and recover using acceptance in the perfect scenarios, in the perfect situations, and never have to deal with drama in the meantime. Unfortunately, it's just not real life, right? Me personally, when I was learning about acceptance and I was trying to apply acceptance, I did not have the ideal situation. In fact, a lot of the worst drama in my life was during my last bout of sensitization, which is ironic, right? But these things do happen, and we do have to accept that this is a part of life. My advice to you would be, right, family drama will pass. People will, calm down. Their attitudes towards you will change. Unfortunately, we do have to deal with real life stress when we're in recovery. Unfortunately, some people have to deal with more stress than others during recovery. But my biggest thing that I want you to know is that does not have to stop you from recovery. So you might be dealing with a lot of real life stress. You might be dealing with a lot of family drama right now. Whatever the case may be, certain people acting a certain way to you that just makes it a little bit worse on your nerves. But you can absolutely, even though it's a little bit more difficult, you can absolutely apply everything that you're learning here, right? The accepting attitude, working on building the accepting attitude, living your life despite these false alarms, understanding that they are false alarms, right? You can do these things and you can work on this despite the family drama that you're experiencing, or maybe not even necessarily family drama, but any sort of drama or real life stress that you are experiencing. You absolutely can still work on the two main keys, and you absolutely can still make progress despite not having the ideal life situation in order to recover in, right? Because I know I didn't have the ideal life situation, and I'm sure most of the people here now can agree with me when I say that they probably didn't have or don't have the ideal life situation to recover in, but you can still recover, right? So I hate that you're going through that. I hate you're experiencing that. But for most of us, that is the case. For most of us, we don't have the ideal situations to recover in, but we got to work with what we got, and we got to practice the two main keys regardless. Which I know is not a very satisfying answer, but hopefully it brings you a little bit of relief to hear that yes, you absolutely can still recover and make progress despite what's going on in your life, as long as you work on these two keys. Sorry, I know that was a very long response to your question, but that one hit home for me because there was many times where I was like, fuck dude, I wish I had the perfect life situation that would make this so much easier. You know, there's a lot of times I got down on myself about that. So that question kind of hit home for me, and that's why I gave that long-winded response. Yeah, I do have Cash App Expressing. It's on the screen there. Again, we gotta remain calm when those days come when we get close to losing the streak, because eventually it's gonna happen. We gotta remain calm. We gotta accept it, right? But you guys didn't let that happen today, so we're moving on to a 60-day streak. I appreciate it. You are the only source of help, Wonder Bro. I am in tears. God bless you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your detailed answer. God bless you. Absolutely. Like I said, that question just kind of hit home for me because I remember spending many, many days wishing and almost praying that I had a more ideal life situation in order to recover in. I remember telling myself many, many times that, you know, if only my life was a little bit easier, maybe I could do this a bit better. And that never helped me. Of course, that's never going to help. Eventually, I had to come to terms with the fact that nobody has the ideal life situation. Nobody has the perfect situation where they can recover in. A lot of people have to do a deal with a lot of real life stress even while they're in the process of recovering. And but I remember getting very down on myself about that. You know, wishing I had a better situation to recover in. But the fact of the matter is, it got a lot easier once I accepted the fact that, you know, nobody has the perfect life situation and that I still can make progress without the perfect life situation. Once I accepted that and realized that, it made it a lot easier. So, it made it a lot easier. So, you know, like I said, my biggest piece of advice to you would be just to remember that even if you don't have the perfect life to recover in, you absolutely can still recover in it. You absolutely still can make progress in it. You absolutely still can practice the two main keys, right? Good life advice, not just good anxiety advice. So that would be my biggest thing for you to take from that, was that you don't have to wish for a better life in order to make progress. You can start making progress now. That's going to lead to a better life, right? It doesn't have to be the other way around. I got put onto you when they had taken your computer away. I've waited so long, couldn't risk losing your streak. You deserve it. I appreciate that, David. Thank you so much, dude. First time tipper? Are you a first time tipper? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So you found my channel while I was MIA there for over a month. That's interesting. What a odd time to find my channel when you think that it's shutting down or something. What an odd time to find my channel. We were gonna end the stream like 20 minutes ago, but you guys are so dedicated to keeping that streak alive. I feel like I owe you a little bit more time. I feel like I owe you a little bit more time for all that you do. So we're gonna keep it going for a little bit. I had pretty much accepted the fact that we were finally going to hit our record of 59 days there, and then you guys rushed in and got us to 60. So instead of shutting it down right away, I feel like I owe you a little bit more time, just because you guys are so dedicated to that, and I really do appreciate it. So I'm not going to bail just yet. Drop the Discord. Absolutely. That's a good idea. Let's drop the Discord. Anybody who's new here that wants to join us over there, please do. Wonder Bro, are we going to have a Christmas hangout stream? Did we do that last year? I think we did a Christmas hangout last year. We might do it again this year. I don't know. It really depends on who plans on stopping by, who shows and who doesn't, all that good stuff. Really, it really depends on them. It's more of a them thing than a me thing. I just kind of, as far as holidays go, I just kind of go with the flow. If I'm able to be here with you guys instead, I do. If I'm not and I'm busy for some reason, then out of my control. But absolutely welcome, Muhammad. Yeah, I was wondering why you weren't going live anymore until I finally joined the Discord and seen you were going through some things. Gotcha. Yeah, the Discord was the only way that I was able to communicate, unfortunately. It's feeling dazed when I leave my house and lightheaded from time to time. Decentralization? Not sure I'm familiar with that term. ER said I was fine, but I've had terrible anxiety for months. Well, if you've been cleared, then you're in the right place. If you've been medically cleared, then you're in the right place. It's time to start learning about those two main keys, dude. We got a brain that needs to be retrained. We got a brain that needs to be shown what's up. We got some anxiety to deal with. We deal with it with acceptance. If you're new here, acceptance is probably going to sound like an odd term to use, but acceptance breaks you out of the fear on fear cycle. Acceptance breaks you out of the fear on fear cycle. So you've got a tired mind, a tired body, and these thoughts, all these negative intrusive thoughts, all of these bodily anxious symptoms, that's a part of having a brain that's way too anxious. How do you take a brain that's way too anxious and teach it to not be that way, chat? How do you take a brain that's way too anxious, giving you all these symptoms, giving you all these intrusive thoughts, overreacting? How do we take a brain that's wired to be that way and wire it to be calmer? Chat, we teach that through the two main keys. Live your life, right? Live your life, cut back on those coping methods. Those only reinforce to the brain that the danger is real when it's not. And secondly, stop fighting with the thoughts and feelings. We call that building the accepting attitude. Reminding yourself in the moment, hey, this is just a false alarm. This is not the real me. And then live your life. This is how you show the brain, hey, the danger's not real. You can chill. I'm not on Discord because my mind is afraid to speak to many people and fear that they may hurt me. Well, I'm here to tell you. Nobody on my Discord is going to hurt you or speak to you in any certain way, right? Nobody on my Discord is going to pull that shit. I don't know what other anxiety groups or forums or chats that you've been on, but we don't roll that way. We don't roll that way. We don't have those sorts of people in our community, and the moment somebody like that starts to show themselves, we take care of it. So we treat you like family around here. We joke around with you, we have laughs with you, we pick on you a little bit in the most loving way possible. But we don't disrespect people. We don't talk down on people. We're quick to sort that stuff out. If there's ever any misunderstandings, we're quick to sort that stuff out. What's up, Edward? Granted, I might show you some tough love every now and then, Muhammad. I might show you some tough love. That's if I see you making some mistakes that I want to correct, and then I might show you some tough love because I want you to get better. But we don't downright disrespect people or make fun of people in this community. That's not something we do. We might make fun of each other, but we just don't downright disrespect people. Just generally speaking, I'm afraid to comment under YouTube videos thinking that someone may attack me in the comments. Yeah, we don't do that around here. We might treat you like a brother and pick on you a little bit, but we don't attack people. I might show you, like I said, I might show you some tough love every now and then, but that's because I want to see you do better. I wasn't sure if you were talking about other groups that may have done that to you or whatnot. You said that that's not the case, but I wanted to address that because growing up, I was a big fan of using anxiety forums. I was a big fan of anxiety chat rooms. I think we all were at one point. Of course, these chat rooms and forums were not very educated on acceptance. They were mostly just fear mongering. They were mostly just people drowning in worry and second fear. Um, so, growing up, like I said, I was a big fan of anxiety forums, big fan of anxiety chats, and when I first started running into sensitization, bouts of that, I was an even bigger fan then of anxiety forums and anxiety chats. And unfortunately, people can be quite disrespectful on these forums and chat rooms. It's because they're miserable themselves, right? Which I guess is understandable in a way, but they can be very cliquey and they can be very rude and very disrespectful at times, and not in any sort of informative way, just downright rude in general. So I understand how that is. Wonder Bro, do you have a Christmas list, like a wish list type of deal? I do have some Amazon wish lists if anybody would like to check those out. I'll drop the link to that. It's totally optional, of course. Wonder Bro, who recommended Claire Weeks for you? If you want to touch on this, no one actually recommended Claire Weeks for me. I just scoured every corner of the internet, from top to bottom, from right to left, every angle. I just did so much research that eventually I found Claire Weeks. I wasn't actually recommended Claire Weeks by anybody. Thinking back, it's quite unbelievable. I'm like, out of all the people I spoke to on forums and chat rooms, how did nobody recommend me Claire Weeks? Well, it's because they probably didn't know of Claire Weeks either, which is just very sad to think about. But eventually, just through my own research, I was able to find Claire Weeks, and I was like, okay, out of everything I've learned, which is a lot, right? Out of everything I've learned, now something that makes a little bit of sense. Now here's something that makes a little bit of sense. And then I just kind of went from there. What's up, Tony? Good to see you, dude. We're at the 2 hour mark. We're just going to keep it going for a bit. We're at the 2 hour mark. The fact that all of you guys jumped in there to make sure we hit our streak meant a lot to me, so I feel like I owe it to you. So we're going to stick around for a little bit. We're at the 2 hour mark. We'll see where we go from here. Yes, that's how I found Claire Weeks, but I had mixed information, as I said before. Yeah, I mean, I had mixed information too, because I mean, at that point, when you do find Claire Weeks, you've already digested so much other bullshit. You know what I mean? Hey, Wonder Bro, hope you're doing great. What's up, Mindy? Hope you're doing great as well. Hope I said your name right. What made you actually start to use the advice? Because as you know, we can have the advice but don't use it at first. I didn't use it for a long time. I took the advice in. I took the method in. I started to understand it on a practical level. As far as actually applying it, especially in the heat of the moment, you know what I'm talking about when I say the heat of the moment, right? So yeah, I knew the advice for a while, but what made me actually start using it was basically just being backed into a big enough corner where I was like, what else is there to try? What else is there to do? Right? Eventually, I just got to a point where I was so bad off. I was like, man, yeah, something needs to happen. Something needs to change, dude. Like, this shit is just not for me. Something has got to change. And, so I knew the advice for a long time was still doing all the bad habits, all the second fear crap. And eventually, I just got backed into such a corner that I was like, something has got to change. And then one day, right? I won't say one day, it's over the course of time, I was like, man, I got to do something. I got to take this shit seriously. So, over the course of a little bit of time, I was like, yeah, we got to do something. I got to take this seriously. Sorry, Woodenbro, didn't mean to make you go over time. Oh, nobody made me go over time. No, you guys are good. You guys are good. No, like I said, the reason we're still here at 2 hours in is because everybody just like jumped in there, and seeing how important that was to you guys, I wanted to stick around, do a little bit of a longer stream just to kind of give back. So, no, nobody forced me to go overtime. Still could have ended it there, but nah, we're good. We're good. You guys show me love, I show you love. Everybody shows everybody love. It's a good place to be. Lynn, thank you so much for the $10 tip. You did not have to do that. Thank you so much, Lynn. Not only have we hit tip goal today, but we have broke tip goal. Over 30. Thank you so much, Lynn. Can we give a shout out in the chat to Lynn, please? Thank you so much. I was doing that tapping method so dumb. I've heard about it. I heard about it. I never did give it a try, but I've heard about it. What's up, A? Fuck tapping. Lucy says, fuck tapping. You'll slowly get more comfortable with the acceptance method. It'll start to make more sense to you as time goes on. I know sometimes you're going to be wrapped up in the heat of the moment and you're going to be like, fuck, dude, and it's going to be so tempting for you to go back to bad habits and drop the accepting attitude. I realize all that. Everybody makes mistakes. I did that plenty of times myself. But as you start to go on with it, you'll start to realize some truths. You'll start to get more comfortable with it. You'll be like, holy shit, this really is a false alarm. Holy shit, I do need to treat it like one. Got some beers yesterday, didn't really like the feeling. I've never been much of a drinker myself. Never been much of a drinker myself, so I understand. It distracted me, so I guess it worked for a minute. I mean, out of all the research I've done on anxiety, of course I've heard about the whole tapping thing. But every time I personally stumbled across the tapping thing, my mind would go straight to, I feel like this, and you want me to tap myself on the forehead. I don't know about that. To reap the true benefits, of acceptance takes time, Mindy. So, what you said is acceptance stops stuff from getting worse. You are right, but acceptance also heals, but it does not heal overnight. And you say I also practice acceptance, which is great. Continue to go deeper with it. Continue to go deeper with it. Try to cut back on more of your coping methods. Try to really practice building the accepting attitude. Practice is a start. All the people here that have healed, all the people here that have made insane amount of progress, they will all tell you the same thing. It doesn't happen overnight, and you've got to continue to take your practice, level it up. Continue to level it up and level it up. So good start, keep it going. Good start, keep it going. So what happens, I mean, what you're kind of describing, what I'm getting from what you're describing is, you say it stops stuff from getting worse, which is proving to me that you are practicing acceptance. Now we need time. Dr. Claire Weeks always stressed time because it does take time for a brain to learn, right? So from what you said, you definitely are practicing acceptance, but now we've got to have time come into the picture to allow the brain to make the correct adjustments. So it sounds like you're on the right track. I would just keep practicing. I would just level up your practice, and I would continue to give it some time because, like we said, you've got fear pathways. You've got literal fear pathways that are built in the brain that take time to retrain. Take advantage of those anxious days. Take advantage of all that. Oh, exactly, Defender, exactly. See, we've got someone in chat right now that'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. Listen to these people, man. They've been there. Is there any other books you recommend other than Claire Weeks? Not necessarily, not off the top of my head. I try to keep it very simple for everybody here. I try to keep it very simple for everybody in recovery, so I don't go off and recommend a whole lot of books, because there is such a thing as having too much information. You start to obsess too much. So I try to keep it very simple. That works the best. So there's not really any books I can recommend off the top of my head. I would keep it simple. Only your third day here, starting to feel better. Good, good. Keep it up. Sometimes it takes other people a little bit longer, and that's fine. No two people are the same, so please do not compare yourself to other people because that's just more worry and obsession, more second fear. So, but that's awesome. Express. Keep going, dude. Keep going. Absolutely. It's funny what just calling anxiety out for a false alarm can do. It's funny what just keeping your head above water when you're having all these anxious feelings, you're having all these anxious thoughts. Defender said, he used to laugh at that. He laughs at what used to make him scared now. That's what happens in the end once we continue to heal. But when you're in the heat of the moment, it's important to keep your head above the water and remind yourself, hey, this is not the real me. Keep going. Keep living. Let this shit happen. Keep going. Keep living. Let this shit happen. It's not the real me. False alarm. You're staying out of the second fear territory and you're adopting more of the accepting attitude. You're breaking out of the fear on fear cycle. You're teaching your brain these thoughts and feelings are not real dangers. It's really up to you to keep yourself out of the rabbit hole. It is really up to you. We can teach and teach and teach, but at the end of the day, keeping yourself out of the rabbit hole, that part's up to you. Whatever you want to remind yourself of in the moment, whatever reminder you adopt, if you want to switch it up, be aggressive, I don't know. Keeping yourself out of the rabbit hole is up to you. There's many different ways you can approach that. many different reminders you can give yourself in the moment. You know, if you're feeling extra anxious, you're having all these thoughts and feelings, you can remind yourself, this is not the real me, this is the false alarm, right? Instead of doing all the obsessing and the second fear and the debating and the fighting, you can simply remind yourself that and then continue to live life. Now you're stepping out of that second fear territory, you're giving the brain a chance to learn. However you keep yourself out of the rabbit hole is up to you. I recommend keeping it short, sweet, and simple with your little reminders, keeping that right attitude. However you keep yourself out of that rabbit hole is up to you, but I recommend short, sweet, and simple. Continue to build the correct attitude, live your life, show your brain these thoughts and feelings are not real dangers. Slowly over time, you're going to reap the benefits of that. Oh yeah, you can dig yourself a deep rabbit hole. You can dig yourself a deep rabbit hole, that's for sure. I agree with you there, Mindy. That's okay though, you can always pull yourself back out of it slowly but surely. Why do you think acceptance isn't the forefront of anxiety treatment? Honest question. It's becoming. It's slowly becoming the forefront of anxiety treatment. You're starting to see statistically that more people, both in and out of the office, are starting to adopt things like acceptance, sometimes referred to as ERP, which is response prevention, basically cutting out coping methods, accepting the anxiety, and retraining the brain. You're starting to see this slowly become the forefront of anxiety treatment, right? This is starting to become the most popular go-to. Unfortunately, for a very long time, it wasn't, because a lot of people were under the false belief that the best thing to do for people is to throw this at them. We're talking about medication, which of course is a personal choice. It's neither right or wrong. But for the longest time, you would see that it was easier just to medicate people, right, than it was to actually educate people on how the brain works. But now you're starting to see the opposite. All right, guys, we are over the 2 hour mark, so we are going to go ahead and end it here. It's been a long one today, man. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for everything, truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart. It's been a good one. We are going to go ahead and wind it down, though. Again, just thank you so much for everything. Leave a like on this stream if you enjoyed it, and I'm sure I'll see you guys very, very soon. All right? I love you, and until next time, as always, stay awesome.